everybody. Welcome to Echo Underground. I'm Shanique,
This is Mike.
and on this podcast, we talk about music, movies, and any other interesting topics. Today's episode is going to be about the new entry into the Cloverfield franchise called Cloverfield Paradox. Now, I learned something interesting that this is the prequel to the first one, which makes sense considering the ending.
I spoke to someone at work, and hopefully we have the same answer because I don't really know. Like they said, it was a prequel, even though it happened in the future from the first one. But the way they explained it makes sense. But that's fine. Hopefully you have the same actual explanation that I got. But go ahead.
Okay, so before we hop into like the movie, there will be spoilers. So if you do not want to be spoiled, stop here and watch it and then come back.
Spoilers and fuckery ahead, guys.
Yes, and if you do want to be spoiled or you wasn't gonna watch it and you don't give a shit, hey, continue. Listen to this review and maybe you'll watch it anyway after we spoil the whole movie.
Maybe it might sound so weird to you. You're like, "What the hell are they talking about?" Let me see this for myself. No, you're gonna be like, "Yeah, they're alright. It's spoilers and fuckery." So don't worry.
And yeah, you could tweet us at Echo U Podcast, and you can find us on any social media sites and podcasting apps at Echo Underground Podcast, and we'll get right into it. So, my grade for this movie. The struggle is real. I'm gonna give it. Shut up. I'm gonna give it a B, with the potential to be a B plus. Here's what I liked about the movie. I liked the imagery of the movie. I thought the plot was cohesive. I understood why they were doing what they were doing and why the hell they were in space. Yada yada. It had a couple twists I did not see coming. I like the characters. I like the actors. Fine. What I don't like about the movie, I don't understand the science behind what they were doing. Even though that's literally the premise of the movie for the most part. I didn't like some of the stupidity of the characters. Like, I know that this is a horror movie. I know, guys. I know it's a horror movie. But there's levels to the shit. Okay? When we get into spoilers, I'm going to point out all the stupid shit people were doing. That was killing me. I didn't even mind any of the gross part, especially the stuff with Volkov. Some of his shit was really nasty. It was a little predictable. Like, I knew someone was going to fuck shit up. I knew when the betrayal happened. And also, I felt like they kept the characters, how should I say, oblivious to what was going on, even though they're all scientists. I would understand if it was someone who's supposed to be like maybe me or Michael, who don't know what any of this shit is. But all of them are like scientists. They should have caught on a lot quicker. But I know for plot's sake and movie's sake, you can't make them do that. But it irritated me a little bit. So that's my grading. What do you give this movie?
You know, hopefully, what I said earlier about finding out what the actual plot of the movie really was and how it does these tie-ins and how a really major, like, confusing part of the end of the movie, like, actually made sense, which we will get to. Before I found that out, I was gonna give it like a B minus, but now I'm gonna put it up to like a B because I feel like, oh, that explains a whole lot. 'Cause I'm a sucker for like time travel-y, trans-dimensional storyline, sci-fi kind of stuff. And they put like a little horror spin on it, which I guess is okay. Because I know we didn't get a chance to, but there was a movie Arc on Netflix, which would have just, I'd have had a hard time talking about that movie because even that was time travel to a level I never even understood it. But like my brain obviously was not like, wired to program whatever kind of logic was going on in that movie. And don't get me wrong, I still get it now, but like it took me some baby steps though. It took me baby steps to understand this movie as well, which at the end of the day, I'm glad actually makes sense to me now. So yeah, I'm gonna give this movie a B because I do like the progression from beginning to end and how things actually did end up making sense. I didn't like the fact that they didn't see like the movie was so predictable that they should have saw how predictable it was. Because there's a major plot point in this movie regarding one certain character who was in a wall that they did not realize. Hey, I think they might have a problem with us. So um, that's not like dropping it down to a B. The only thing dropping it down to a B was I guess like outside the whole sci-fi element of it, it wasn't like a standout like either a sci-fi or horror movie in either respects. But it did do a pretty solid job at it though, especially for the Cloverfield franchise, of which I have not seen any other Cloverfield movies about. So hopefully we actually know what we're talking. I don't know about Shanique, but I know I haven't. So hopefully I know what I'm talking about. I can't even say we. Hopefully I know what I'm talking about.
I'm right there with you. I have not seen any Cloverfield movies. I know the first one was like handheld, and it's like you see these things attacking and all that stuff. But we'll get into that. So let's start from the beginning. The movie opens up where you see Hamilton and her husband Michael. Hey,
Right.
they're in the car, and basically right now the Earth's in crisis. Short synopsis: the Earth's in crisis. They're losing power. They need an energy source. So the world's biggest nations send a scientist from each of their countries up to space to figure out, hey, make this machine work that will give them unlimited energy. So Hamilton agrees to go because her husband pushed her forward and said, you know what, you got to save the world. And she's like, but I don't want to leave you. And there's this whole thing. He's like, go, I love you, blah, blah, blah. Flash forward. I think there was like a 2-year time jump because. So yeah, they skipped 2 years without telling us they skipped 2 years until someone was like, yo, we've been up here 2 years. And they're in the space machine and they tried to shoot this gun directly at Earth, which
No, it wasn't. It wasn't shooting a gun. What they were trying to do was test like a particle reactor. It's a really sciencey word for it, but it's just called a particle
it
reactor.
looked like a giant ass gun though. That's why I call
Yeah.
it. I know it's not a gun, but that's what I'm gonna call it. Okay.
You're gonna call it a gun.
Yes.
Clearly not a gun. Okay.
I don't care about the scientific terms. It looked like a big ass gun with lasers coming out of it, and they pointed at the Earth. And guess what? They fucked up shit. Okay. Anyway. Oh wait. He's like, whoa.
Like Shake is like my logic and my logic only. Screw this movie. If I use movie logic, it gets a C. My logic is giving it a B right now. It needs to survive.
Here's my first question. Not even question. Side eye. Because I know damn well no one would approve shooting that at the Earth. And they never tested it before.
I mean, their problem was, they kind of talked about it though. They were like, it's kind of a large hadron collider, which pretty much like is pretty dangerous to test on Earth. Like I know there's like one scientific theory saying that if it works, it could cause like a black hole or something like that. There's a guy on the news who talked about something like it though.
Yeah, but this would not get approved because
no. I mean, but then again, it was desperate times though. Remember that their Earth kind of sucks. I guess we glossed over one really big point of the movie is that Earth is like going through like a huge energy crisis.
That's what I said. No, you weren't listening. I'm trolling, but I did actually say that though.
Okay, that's fine. Maybe I missed it.
But Michael's right. They are going through a huge energy crisis, and this is their last hope. I'm just saying this gun would not be approved. I know it's not a gun. Don't correct me. It would not be approved unless I guess maybe they were that desperate. Maybe it would be. They're like, fuck it. We could destroy the Earth, but if we don't do it, the Earth's going to be destroyed anyway. Wait, I have a question then. Hold on. Is it the problem that they'll lose power forever?
Well,
Or if the Earth's gonna die? Like,
no. The problem was they're running out of natural resources such as like oil in order to like fuel things like nuclear reactors for energy, for vehicles, for factories. They're pretty much worried about the Earth devolving backwards because they're gonna lose they're losing their primary sources of energy pretty much, and like because they're like scrambling around to get the last bit of energy, everyone is like fighting over it. And that's their problem. Pretty much, they're going into war, or like on like pretty much on horseback, pretty much, just because like they can't afford to use planes and tanks and the ships anymore. That's how low they were on the energy.
look, we just will have to adapt. Like, I'm sorry.
I mean, hey, people got used to driving on cars, and on top of that, if you adapt, people ain't gonna make it. Like, do you know how hard the population will get hit if they realize, dang, I can't go to no hospital no more. We got no factories for vaccines. We can't do no like proper research and like document things anymore.
Okay,
Like,
but here's the thing. We survived centuries without any of those things for a very long
yeah,
time. We could do it
that's,
again.
that's before that's before we had what we did have now, and that's back when the population was a lot lower. Like, it was only, it's only I think maybe what early '90s that the actual population of Earth actually hit 1 billion. So within 100 years, we already reached 8 billion humans on the planet. Before that, it was less than 1 billion.
Look at
That,
Michael spitting out facts.
listen, man, I watch History Channel once in a while. Okay, give me a break.
Alright. I guess. I mean, but like, if it did happen, they just gonna have to adapt. I mean, it's going to suck, and people will die, but you gotta do what you gotta do.
People was dying, shit.
Yeah, cause I don't know what it is, but every time something go wrong in these movies, we act like idiots. We just like, you know what? We just gonna kill each other. I don't even doubt that would happen. I feel like if something happened today, America United we stand. That ain't gonna exist no more.
You're not. It's just not gonna stand. Like, it can be united, but it ain't gonna stand. I'll tell you that right now.
We it could stand and not be united. I feel like it will just be everyone out for themselves. Blah blah blah.
It'll be the Wild West all over again for real.
But yeah. So basically, they're in their first test fails, and then they have
They failed a
three.
bunch of times. I'm forgetting
No,
the actual like total amount of time that they actually did fail. Like, they were up to 2 years doing nonstop tests. I'm forgetting their frequency or how often they were testing. Like, they failed like a bunch of times in 2 years.
well, they never told us. They just said, "Oh, we only have enough for 3 more after the first
Yeah,
test fail."
no, they did. We're just like forgetting the small detail there. Like, they were up there for 3 years. So I'm assuming, even if they didn't tell us how much it was, that they had a lot of time to test it plenty of times. So
Well, I mean, I would assume part of the 2 years is also building it. I don't think they
no,
and
part of 2
like,
years. Okay,
cause like they didn't even tell us like was it already built. We can assume it was, but I don't think. Here's my thing. I don't think you can just fire that thing off with the risk that it has. I think I don't think they can just shoot that much energy so many times. But I could be wrong, and you could be right. I don't remember. And it's also not important for the movie anyway. But I guess it also shows like, things are desperate. We got shit to do. But yeah, the first time that we see it on screen, it fails. Not even, and like they're like, oh shit, we're gonna try again in a couple hours. We see Hamilton talk to her husband and all that stuff. We kind of get glimpses of each character and each scientist. And then basically the next time they shoot it is when shit goes wrong. It takes a left. And it doesn't turn back after that. Basically, they shoot it the second time, overloads, and I wouldn't say blow up, but like destroys a lot of the station. I shouldn't say destroyed. Damages a lot of the station, and then things get hella weird from then. So once it gets weird, this is when my spidey sense kicked in, and I was like, this is when I would have been like, man, we're fucked. The panic would have set in. I don't know about Michael, but the panic for me would have been like, shit. Especially when they couldn't find the Earth. Which
Kind of a big target to miss out on, right?
Yeah. When Hamilton said, we don't know where the Earth is, I was like, we took a left. We took a left. At all. We were like, what happened? And they couldn't. And then, one plot point, which is almost immediate. After they fire this, because like Michael said, the guy on there mentioned like demons can be unleashed, which hint, that does happen. You could knock into another dimension. Hint, that also does happen. You could do all these horrible things, and they eventually accomplished that, which of all the accomplishments to achieve, that's not one of them they should have. Volkov starts peeling and shit, right? Like, what's wrong with him? I don't get the whole. That's the one plot point I don't get. I don't get how Volkov is the only one that has that issue. Did they ever explain that, or did I miss it?
No and yes. I'm assuming like they said certain things in their universe got like displaced pretty much. And like we know at one point that they had, I don't know if it's like a source of food that they had up there or something like that, but they had like these worms, and somehow he was just unfortunate enough for the worms to be teleported inside of him. I don't know if that's just random bad luck or if there's actually some other kind of plot point, because that wasn't even the only thing that got teleported inside of the guy. This guy just harboring a whole bunch of shit
Basically,
in his body.
Yeah, and also he had like the ship's compass in his body, right? The gyro.
Right, he did, but we're jumping ahead like two big things that happened before we even find that for real. But you're right.
You're right. Yeah, but keep going.
Oh yeah, I don't like as far as the logic behind Volkov. I have zero idea what that was about, because back to what Shanique said. After they fire it and they fail, like they did this whole condensation thing, which apparently made a difference which they never did before. Like they purged the water from the system or something like that. Really unsure if some scientific dorky stuff was happening in the background. But pretty much like one first thing that went wrong, Earth is missing on all their cameras. Now, I hate being lost in DC. I'm pretty sure I would hate getting lost in like the galaxy where I can't see a single planet. That would be a big problem for me. I kind of like to know where I am in the universe at all times. Shaniqua know all about this. She know how I like to drive. I got to know.
Yeah.
I got to know. So they did not know. And for some reason, the Volkov's place in the galaxy was inside of his chest. And apparently they talked to him? I don't know. Those worms are weird. It's like they were like sentient, because like they somehow like were in his brain moving around or something like that. Because he kept messing with his skin. I think I saw one moving around in his forehead at one point. And then he just had a bad day after that.
Spoiler alert, he died.
Yeah. He dies very unceremoniously. I think he had probably one of the top 2 worst deaths in this movie.
Yeah. So that was weird. I still don't get. I mean, I didn't particularly like Volkov as a character, even though I understood his role. But damn, they took him out in the worst way, and I don't even know why. Maybe they couldn't think of any other way, or they were trying to be like gross about it. But I was just like, all right, he dead. And then before that, I know the introduction of Mina, right, is before that.
Yeah, because they start hearing like wailing in the ship coming out of a wall.
She should have died, though.
Right.
Like,
I mean, all things considered.
She should have died.
Yeah, she was in bad shape.
Yeah, they found her in the wall with like wires and all this stuff going on. I'm like, and the way she healed, they had a hospital up there because no fucking way. And she healed too quick. She healed
Yeah,
way too quick.
they never really got to telling us the amount of time that passed during the entire movie. I'm assuming maybe a couple like days that they probably because they probably couldn't measure in space or something like that. Or maybe they did and this wasn't important to the plot. But like yeah, she kind of got back on her feet in a hurry. It's a little weird
Yeah.
because she had like rods and wires and like a whole bunch of things going on with her, and those wires were like on, and like they were like, yo, we can't just pull her out. We might electrocute her and ourselves. And she's in the middle of all that with them literally going through her skin, muscles, and all this kind of stuff. And she sounded like she was in pain. She sounded like she was haunting the ship. I ain't like that at all. Because I was like, oh, it's gonna be another Aliens movie with xenomorphs and whatnot. Then it didn't happen, but it sounded just like it. Tell you that much.
Yeah, and I guess we could talk about Mina. What did you think of Mina as a character? You could talk about stuff later. It doesn't matter. What do you think of Mina as a character?
I thought she got a little robotic toward the end, but I kind of got the resolve behind it though, because I do get her. If I was in Mina's position, I'm not gonna lie, I might have done the same thing she did. See, on the outside looking in though, if I'm from because she's from we're gonna call this where they are now, Universe B. She's from Universe B, where when the Asian what's the name astronauts, I'm gonna call them astronauts or scientists, were in space. But like in this universe, she's not in space, and she's actually replaced by Mina. And Ava's also not in space in Universe B, because like they're technically friends. But when I think about her, I think she was right in her own sense. However, if we're from Universe A and there's more of us than there are of you, then I'm gonna kind of want to have my universe saved, because pretty much the movie ends up being which universe are you about to save, mine or some other universe I ain't never been to before. So I kind of get her resolve in the end.
Okay, but here's the thing. Even if she's I understand her point of view. I don't agree with it because basically Mina basically says, "Hey, I'm gonna kill all these people."
Well,
And
her logic was, I'm gonna kill 3 people to save my entire universe.
but here's what I'm saying. Let's say, what was she going to do? Take the thing? Take the what was it called? Let's say the space station, because I forgot what the space station name. No, the Shepherd. There you go. Right. Take the Shepherd and make it work. But the country's already at war. So it's not gonna fix the problem. What's going to happen is that people are gonna just fight over the Shepherd now. It's not gonna fix her unit. It's not gonna save her universe in the way that she wants it to. Now,
Well,
here's the thing. She still has the schematics, and she technically could still save her universe that way. But she wanted a quicker solution because she didn't trust in the fact that they would be able to get it built in time. I understand that. But like, I hate to say it, but Universe B was fucked already. I hate to say it. They're
that's
already
kind
at
of
war. There are already people dying. I don't even know if the alien things are there.
that's another thing I want to talk about in this movie too. I was thinking about it a couple minutes ago, but I didn't want to bring it up just yet. But the aliens never really showed themselves in Universe B. Universe B just happened to already be at the point where they're already at war or whatnot. But they never made any mention of the Cloverfield aliens.
Well, you know what? Probably, you know why? They're probably not there because they never got the thing to fire. It crashed. So that's probably why the aliens or monsters or demons or whatever aren't in Universe B. But either way, Universe B was already fucked. I'm sorry to tell you, Mina, your universe is already fucked. And even if she turned it on, they're just gonna fight for control of that. They're not gonna work together. That's my opinion, though. But I understand her point of view. I really do. I got what she saw. She said, you know, hey, if I steal these schematics, plus steal the Shepherd, fire it, then all of a sudden I'll be a hero. People won't die. But it doesn't solve the main issue. You have a world war going on your Earth.
Well, see, here's the thing about that. Remember, they have like a member of each country pretty much who pulled all their resources into this one thing. Her main problem in her universe was her Shepard in her universe crashed, and they for dang sure do not have the kind of resources again to put another ship in space, because they're already like that deep in the problem that they already had. So what her plan was, like, yo, it's not going to be just enough to steal the schematics because we don't have them kind of resources. We actually need the Shepherd itself so we can start copying the technology and bring Earth back to full power. Because like I said, they just don't have the stuff to copy from a short. Maybe she would have had the schematics, but like you said, it might have been the quicker and easier way. But she was like, nah, I'm gonna just keep it here. Because they did need to take it away back to their own universe anyway, and that was like her main issue. But I don't know, sci-fi reasons, I guess.
Well, yeah, like I said, I agree with her on the fact that what, they might not get it up in time, but even if the Shepherd was to stay there, who's gonna control it when they're already fighting against each other? Like, the whole team member thing is dead because the crew member, it's officially dead once they went to war. No team anymore. On her universe, at least. So I'm just saying, even if she kept the Shepherd, they're going to fight over who's going to control it. They're not going to work together. That's usually how it works in, I want to say post-apocalypse Earth in any type of movie. They don't work together. They just, like, fuck it. I'm stealing shit. And also, here's the thing that could have happened. They could have fired and then did the same thing that happened on Universe A. And then they'd be fucked even more.
That's very possible.
So, to be honest, I don't see a happy ending for Universe B. But, to be honest, I don't care about Universe B. So, it could be that. Then, I guess we can also get into the other crew members' deaths, too. Because basically all the other scientists die trying to fix the Shepherd. And so they can go back to their universe, plus restore the power. And I told Michael the real hero is the Asian one because she figured out what was wrong. She died. Which, another thing that killed me in this movie, they kept locking themselves in rooms. And now we know why, kind of, because the captain said that a lot of the way the space station was built, the door has to be locked to get shit to work. That is not safe. You can't get out if it malfunctions. Who thought of that?
That comes to bite him in the ass later, but we'll get to that.
Like, that was poor design. Like, and then they didn't have any fail safes in the room. That shit killed me. Like, come on, son. I like, but whatever. We don't move past that. It's movie logic. But basically, she dies. I forgot. I don't know what caused the malfunction, but the room starts filling up with water. And then eventually, so she basically goes to this room to open the vents because she realized all you need is ventilation, right? To get the Shepherd to work. And work not only to get them home, but also to renew the energy source. And while she's doing it, something goes wrong. It turned left. And she basically almost drowns. And then let me say this right. So basically the room starts filling up with water. I don't remember how it started filling up with water. Maybe Michael can inform me.
Oh, that detail's also skipping me, so I'm alright with that.
Okay. The room that she's like clearing the ventilation for starts filling up with water. The door, because it's locked, all of a sudden doesn't want to open anymore. She does radio the other team members, say, hey, help me, I'm about to die. And they can't get the door open on their other side. And it fills up with so much water that it breaks the window and she gets sucked into space.
Not even that. Remember, that's not even what happened. She got what's the name? The vent leading to space pretty much got exposed, and all the water in there tried to escape, and everything froze. Like she just got frozen in the
Yeah, you're
spot.
right. I'd rather die the way she did than the other ones. I'm saying.
That depends. I mean, I don't know. I have like a list of people who caught it the worst, but I think she might have had a little bit easier because hers was pretty quick. I'm assuming.
Yeah,
Like
because once you're
she,
frozen, you're frozen.
yeah, I'm probably she got the complete Captain America treatment. So it's a little bit worse.
Nah, I look over. Let's see. Maybe Mina, but over any of the rest of them, I'd rather take her death. I would take Mina's death over Mina or Monk's death over everyone else, and then the Asian girl. Like the Asian
He's the
girl,
only.
like those three will be the ones I would take over the
Monk's the
one.
only one that had a normal ass death. Like he got shot. I was like, dang, thank you. No aliens invaded, no explosions, no nothing. He just went out like a human being. Everyone else just went out because of like some weird sci-fi reasons. But yeah, it's fine
Oh,
though.
you know what? I changed that. Asian or Monk? I now remember how Mina died. She did not die the way I thought she
Yeah,
did.
I'm about to say like, yeah, if you forgot about that one, she got bad. she ain't I don't like where she went out either.
Yeah, but I like the Asian girl. I think she was probably creeping with that German guy who is Zemo from Age of Ultron. If
War.
anyone watched that.
Okay, yeah. I was gonna say Civil War, but that's fine too. He wasn't there technically.
Oh yeah, you're right. It is mostly Civil War, but he was in Age of Ultron too. But um, but that one was pretty fucked up. And then I want to also talk about. We're skipping around. Who cares? Hamilton. Did you agree with her first wanting to go back to Mina's Earth?
Oh, I mean, I'm guessing like whoever's listening to this podcast don't know, but pretty much the Hamilton from Earth A, the initial Earth, she pretty much lost her kids because she was trying to siphon power, and while she was doing that, the house set on fire, and then her kids died. In the second one, that never happened, and she ended up staying on Earth and not going to the space station. And she's living happily ever after, minus the whole apocalypse, thing going on.
I'm
But
about
at
to
least
say
she had
happily
her
ever
family.
after.
But at least she got her family happening there. So Hamilton A now in Hamilton A can't say that right there. Hamilton A now in Universe B. She's like, oh, my family's alive. I need to go see them to make sure that the Hamilton B doesn't try to siphon power and kill her family. So me in my head, I'm like, there's already a Hamilton here, and this is also not your universe. And this is just me getting all sci-fi and crap here, but let's hear me out. Hear me out. If I'm traveling between dimensions and I see myself, I ain't gonna mess with me. Which I know is a weird sentence to say, but I'm gonna leave me alone. Listen, whatever happens to Michael in the other universe was meant to happen. Let me mind my own business, cause I for dang sure hope no. Yeah, listen, let me tell y'all right now. If it comes down to because if her leaving would have actually spelled out a part of the fate for the shepherd as well. So it kind of confused me that she really wanted to choose going down there and pretty much being the only thing from her universe in that universe versus just staying with the ship and like moving on with everything. Because don't get me wrong, I get it. She's hurt. She did lose her kids, and she found a place where her kids do exist. But it's like, this ain't for you. You can't just. It's one thing to go to a foreign country and start messing with stuff. You're going to a foreign universe. You don't get to even be there. You are a literal universal anomaly. You have to go back home regardless of how shitty your home is. Which, technically, Universe A had it pretty bad. So I guess that's. Also consider. Hold on, I might retract that. If I knew what was back there waiting for me in Universe A, I would have stayed in Universe B. Because as we get to the end of the movie, we find out that may have been the best option.
Okay. Yeah. Here's what I think. She was being hella selfish. She was like low key, fuck Michael, her husband, not the one on the podcast. Um, and she was like, you know what? I'm gonna go back down. She had no intention at first of returning on him, which I hope he never finds that out. Um, and
That's true. Like, oh, by the way, I almost abandoned you.
we got bigger things to worry about when she go home. That's a mute point until after the apocalypse is over. But she's gonna abandon her husband. Plus, she's probably gonna scare the shit out of herself, which is a
Right.
weird sentence to say. And
Right.
she don't know anything about that earth, so she could have went there and ended up dying before she even reached that person.
Mhm.
She did not think that shit through. She was thinking on emotions, and I get it. And her kids were very cute, but no, absolutely no. I would not have done that, and that shouldn't have been a plan. But hey, but I did like her most of the movie, and I see why she's the protagonist and all this stuff. So I'm good with her. We're about to hit my favorite character, and we're gonna talk about his death as well. Was the captain Keel? Keel, right?
He's the one who I think caught the worst death. Only because we don't know if he's dead or if he's still floating around up there.
No,
But yeah, his name is Captain. His name is Keel.
yeah, Keel. He was a captain. He kept a cool head. He's part of the reason they made it to the end.
Mhm.
Actually,
Sacrificed himself, man.
yeah, he sacrificed himself because again, the door has to be locked to disengage. Which that's the only time for me that made fucking sense. Why you gotta have a door locked to ventilate? Why you gotta have a door locked to do these other things? But to disengage from the space station makes sense to why you have to have the door locked. That makes sense to me. Any other time the door was locked and these people died, I was like, bullshit. I called bull on it. Don't make no damn sense. But Keel was really good. He was strong. He was educated. Team America,
True.
and he was smart and he knew how to check people. My favorite scene is when he walked up and snuffed Smith, the German dude. I was dying.
The worst part is when you think about it, he didn't deserve it.
He didn't, but he was getting on my nerves, low key. But he,
Like Schmidt from Universe B might have deserved it, but Schmidt from Universe A, he was alright. He was actually one of the good guys.
yeah, yo. First of all, from Universe A, Schmidt, when an angry black man walks towards you, don't even address you, block your face, okay? Cause it was kind of obvious he was gonna snuff him. I don't know why he didn't even like defend himself. If you saw Keel walking on you like that, would you at least be prepared?
I mean, if I see anybody walking on me like that, I don't care if you black or not. I'm putting my hands up like, okay, hold up. Your posture is a little aggressive right now. Make some distance. You in my bubble, dog. Hold
I
up.
know,
But,
cause
but
he's
see, Schmidt wouldn't have seen it coming though, cause like, yo, they've been up there for 2 years and nobody tried to snuff anybody yet. And like, he thinks he's in the clear because he don't know that Universe B version of himself was an asshole. So like, he had no reason to believe so, which I kind of get. But my thing is, I don't care if I know you or not. You walk up on me with your chest out like that, I'm like, no, son, I ain't gonna catch that fade.
no. Okay, first off, let's be clear. I'm gonna set the scene. Smith is like doing his thing, yada yada, and then he turns. He see Keel walking on him, very gangster like, very pissed, very like walking fast too. Because when someone's walking fast and looking angry, you gotta pause. And Smith was like, "What's up, Keel?" Keel said nothing and kept walking at him. Red flag, red flag, red flag. That would have told me something's wrong, and I would have had to stance because you don't let someone walk up on you. It be killing me on like on reality shows when they let them walk up on them. Cause I'm like, don't you watch TV? The security guards always them hit you. Always.
At least one good shot in.
I know. Back in the day, they used to let them beat. Okay. This is a little tangent, but I used to watch a show called. It was like Real World, but for the Virgin Islands.
Yeah.
And I remember
Talk
the
about what I want with the
episode.
girl. At least talking about
Yeah,
the one with the girl, like she had the shoe or something like that.
yes, that
I know
shit
exactly what
killed
you're talking
me.
about.
First of all, she let that girl walk up on her at first, thinking of
That one's
security.
different. She was loud when she on her approach. If someone's loud on their approach, then you definitely got to be on defense.
I don't care if you silent or you loud. If they're walking on you that angry, they don't even address you. They walk directly at you. They're looking you dead in the eye and they're balling up their fists. You gotta be on the defense. This girl got beat with a shoe, a stiletto too.
The
Bashed the
heel of
head
the
all.
stiletto, right?
Yeah, bashed
Right.
the head open. And I'm like, come on. Even though the security guards were wrong, she had a weapon.
I mean,
Okay.
she was off the show after that, wasn't she?
Yeah, cause she bashed her head. Like,
Completely reasonable response.
I don't like. That's when reality TV show used to actually show reality. Now you can't do that.
Yeah,
Can't.
we don't want to get sued, guys. Please keep us on TV. We try to come to work tomorrow.
I saw a couple ones. I remember one with the Jersey Shore, where one of the girls got snuffed by a dude.
If I was Snooki got snuffed, right?
Yeah.
Why do I know this?
I don't know, cause I didn't think you watched it like that. And then
I don't. That's the worst part. I think I might have just seen it on the internet or something like that. I don't know.
and then Love and Hip Hop. Love and Hip
That
Hop
definitely no.
is the biggest like
Offender of
show.
this like logic right here.
Yeah, they always let them walk up on them. I'm like, excuse me.
Back up
Do
off
you
me.
see? Do you watch your own show? They always let them hit you. And then that reunion episode where the couple just was hitting everybody. I'm like, security guard, what's wrong with you? Like, and then people were suing. People got arrested. I'm like, come on, let's make it look bad though. But back to Smith, he should have had his hands up. But I guess he was like, nah, he's not gonna hit me. He's just angry. He probably thought he's just gonna grab him. Even then, I still would have had my hands up. But I thought Kill was like the best character for me. Besides Hamilton, I thought Kill was pretty good of a character. What do you think of Kill? And
He was cool. He was like a good leader character. I didn't mind him at all. In fact, he's probably the one. Well, next to Tam,
yeah,
and maybe that lost his arm. But like, he's at the top of my list. Right, him and Tam kind of tie up because Tam technically did save the universe, and Keel was a good leader. And I still think he got the worst death because we never even see him actually like, physically die. We just see him get like thrown off into space with a part of the space station, which I'm assuming has like a limited oxygen supply. And he just like floating around there with like probably no real gravity to hold him down, so he's just like bouncing around in there. He probably had the slowest and worst death, but like as a character, he did just fine. He pretty much handled everything from the beginning of the movie where he got introduced to his death pretty well. Like he even tricked them to getting out of the little part of getting purged so that he could purge it himself so that, the team could go off and survive pretty much. So, he played his captain of the ship role very well.
I
Black
agree.
dude holds down. You already know he got roots from Wakanda.
He was in the movie. I thought.
Was he? I don't know. You're better with faces than I am, man. I can't recognize none of these damn
Man,
faces.
there was a bunch of black people. He might have not been. I know he was on the red carpet, but he could have just been supporting the movie. But I guess dude with the arm. I didn't get that whole sequence. Like, was that another situation like Volkov where because they got knocked into another dimension, the nigga just lost his arm randomly?
See, what confuses me about that's not even the worst part. Why was his arm smart and knew about Volkov? Because that means to say that his arm is his Universe B arm somehow.
Yeah,
So how did
it wrote.
he lost his Universe A arm, and his Universe B arm knew about where the compass was inside of Volkov, and it knew how to write and walk on its own. It there was something like that. I think in like Beetlejuice, where like the arm was alive or something. I'm like, what the hell is going on here, yo?
Yeah.
That was weird. I really didn't get that whole sequence of things. Cause I didn't mind Monday. He's like the only like comic relief in space, which I'm sorry. Like everyone else, I get they're kind of on edge, but he's the only one even cracking a joke here or there, and I appreciated his character too for real.
Yeah, he was good too. I actually like all the scientists except Mina and Volkov and Smith. So like those three, nah.
I
They
didn't mind Schmidt. I minded Universe B Schmidt, but I didn't mind Universe A Schmidt.
look. I agree. Universe A is better than B, but they both no. Both important, but
At,
I just didn't
at,
like his personality.
at the end of the movie, you realize Universe B may be the place to be, actually. But that's fine. We'll get to that.
Yeah, yeah, but I did like Mundy, Monk, um, Rip Monk.
He was alright too. Like he was probably the one character who wasn't really like fleshed out a lot, pretty much, because like he's kind of a reserved character, kind of. I think it was what he was like the most medically apt person in the space station, I guess.
Yep,
But he was kind of reserved as far as his character goes. Everyone else had like a very like extroverted part of their personality. He was like all introvert pretty much.
I agree. And so basically, let's talk about that in the movie. So basically, Mina betrays them and tries to steal the shepherd, which we touched on at the beginning. And Hamilton basically kills her. And so Hamilton fires off the shepherd twice. One to get back to their dimension, which, by the way, that was a risk, but they had to take it because they could have just been knocked into another one. Universe C. And another one to fix the energy crisis. And then they went home. You know what they went home to? Giant ass monsters who were as big as the clouds. So, my question is, was it worth it though?
I mean, it's like not like they knew. They ain't see what. My thing is, if they were that big, like these monsters were so tall that their heads were above the clouds, how come we can't see that from space? Because that's pretty dang big. But then again, I don't know. I've never been to space, so I can't really tell the scale of things. But that's pretty huge. I don't want to go home after that.
Yeah, but they're not big enough to be like above the atmosphere. You can't see all clouds from space.
I mean, you're probably right, but I'm assuming since we don't know which clouds they're going above. All I know is they were above some clouds while they were falling, and I'm like, all right, those could be the ones that are like above what we can actually see that lead into space. But my thing is, don't matter which one is above, it's too damn big.
I agree. And first of all, like, you can't fight this. You just gonna have to hide, and hopefully they don't
Yeah,
find you.
because Earth is going backwards into the whole like Dark Ages thing, and like now they don't got no nuclear weapons to use. They don't got no fuel to like start taking these things down. Like
But the
I don't know,
shepherd's
man.
online now, though, so they do have that now.
Yeah, but how long is it going to take them to get that technology back down to Earth now, replicated enough times before they get destroyed by things that can walk above? Not I mean like they can tower above the clouds. Like it walking can probably take out like
Wait,
towns.
I thought. Here's my thing. I thought they just had to turn the shepherd on, and the energy from it would just shine onto Earth, and that was how they get their energy source.
No, they were testing the actual first one that they want to use on Earth. Because the original problem was it was too dangerous to test on Earth. So what needs to happen now is they need to bring the technology down from the space station, or at least the information from it to Earth, so they can start replicating it. It's not something that's actually being shot, even though you think it's a gun. It's just like it's a particle thing. It's like oh man.
But okay, then why were they shooting it at Earth if it wasn't supposed to do
No,
anything?
okay, that's where you might be mistaken. Nothing was being shot at Earth.
Then why did we go into another dimension? Because that's what the guy was talking about.
Yeah, no, they're saying the particle accelerator that they had, it can do that. It can open gateways. It's not anything being shot. It's like a stationary thing. Think about it like sending off energy into like all different directions. That's pretty much what shot them into a different dimension.
Okay, then I don't understand Volkov saying, "Oh, before he knew they were in another dimension, he thought they destroyed the Earth."
Yeah, well, if you don't see the Earth, you probably think you had something to do with it. I would have thought I did it too. Even though we're not technically shooting anything, I'd have been like, all right, whatever we did it wrong, even though I can't explain it. That's
Well,
pretty much where he was at.
okay, the shot looks weird then because it was pointing at Earth, and then the particle thing shot out a beam
Yeah,
towards
that
it.
that beam is just like energy going backwards and forward in like a small space. They're trying to find a way to make it go backwards and forwards in a small space without overloading itself while doing it infinitely, pretty much. In layman's terms, essentially. Because we have something like that on Earth already. It's the Large Hadron Collider. But like they're saying like the worst thing that could do is like create black holes, but like they're like the black holes would be so small that it would be harmless, pretty much. But like they did it on a much bigger scale using more different sci-fi things, I guess, which makes it more dumb, which makes it a bit different. They didn't get too into them details, obviously, because it's sci-fi logic, so we can't really explain it. But they're saying, all right, it's a lot more dangerous, and we can't try it on Earth. Let's pool all of our resources and then throw it up there, pretty much. So now that it's working, their biggest problem is getting it back down.
They can't bring it down. It's a big ass thing in the sky.
I get that. Or at least bring it, like I said, bring it down or the information from it back down to start replicating it. But that's going to be a little bit of a problem when you have monsters that are like miles high above the sky. And the thing I want to get into about how it also ties in to the other movies. I want to hear your theory first and see if mine lines up with it.
No, I don't have a theory. Someone just told me that this is the prequel for the first movie, because I think in the first movie there's like some like, I don't know, hint or something that shows these monsters and all this other stuff happened before. But I didn't see the movie. I don't have a theory. What is your theory?
Okay, it's not even so much a theory that I heard, but someone told me this as well. Is that it not only messed up with dimensions, but it messed up with timelines. So pretty much, these Cloverfield monsters, they got dropped off in different points in the Earth's past. And the actual point of everything going wrong was this movie. So technically, this movie happened in the future, but the original Cloverfield movie happened in 2008. So even though it happened in the future, it messed up the past and dropped off that monster in Manhattan that we see. Because the monster we see in this movie, Cloverfield Paradox, is in London, where they are. So that's I don't know how it ties into the second movie because we didn't really talk about that one, but we did talk about how it ties into the first one pretty much. And it's that because pretty much what's crazy is the Shepherd pretty much just like destroyed their universe because now not only did they mess up their present, they messed up their past. And those Cloverfield monsters have been around for like a while now, I guess on different parts of the planet. How they got that big though in this universe, I do not know.
I thought they were always big. At least from what I saw the trailer of the first one, the shit was big.
I mean, yeah, it was like city big. Like you can see it like above like skyscrapers. This one was above the clouds. None of them got above clouds.
You did not see the first one. You don't know.
I saw the trailer for the first one. I know how big the first one was. Like
How do you know that's the only one though?
I mean, I'm not saying it's the only one. Because I'm saying there's also one in London, remember? There's also the one in
No, but I'm talking about in the first movie. How do you know it's only one monster and not bigger ones as well?
I mean, I don't know, but I'm assuming that like that would have been a whole different movie if they would like, oh, this movie is up, this monster is up there now, and it's pretty much bigger than all of Manhattan. So, I mean, I don't know. You're right. I don't know. But all I'm saying is I'm just going off of what I do know so far. The one in that movie was not the one that we saw at the end of this movie.
Yeah, it's two different ones. I agree with you. Also, I think there's different demons. I don't think they're one type of demon.
Sure. I'm calling. Sure. I mean, I can believe that. I don't see why not.
I'm only calling them demons because the guy in the TV set called them demons. Okay. I don't know if they are.
Fair enough.
But I don't know what the fuck they are. The guy, the one that we saw at the end though, looked like a demon, just really big and fat.
Well, of course. What the hell else are you gonna call it? I was just calling them aliens, but yeah, you're probably right because like, yeah, it's we don't got no animals on this planet that big, so we gotta classify this as something.
I know, alien, demons, either way, big ass monster.
Right.
Yeah, but man, they did all that work to return to that. Well,
And see, the
ain't that a
crazy part
bitch?
is, in Universe B, all they have to worry about. I'm not gonna say all they have to worry about because it's kind of a big deal, but like, they only had war to deal with, which all in itself, okay, fine, but you don't got to worry about fighting whatever this is, because obviously there's no fighting that. At that point, the Earth is just lost. There's just no point. So,
Hey, you supposed to be the optimist. You don't give up.
Shinik, I promise you, the day I see that, I'm calling it a wrap. A wrap. I'm done.
Oh, that's funny. All right, so I'm gonna give my closing remarks on this real quick. My suggestion is turn on Netflix because it is on Netflix. And watch the movie. You don't really need to see part 1 and 2, but if you do watch it in order, it probably will give you a new
Maybe
perspective on the
maybe it
movie.
might help too. Right.
Yeah. I don't think anything from part 1 and 2 could explain the weird shit with Volkov and Mundy and Mina and all that shit. But it might give you a new perspective on the movie itself. Overall, I thought this movie was really interesting. It's a decent movie. And I say, hey, if you got Netflix, stream it, watch it. What about you? Watch it, skip
Yeah.
it.
Why not? This is a sci-fi horror. You may as well. I mean, that's not a genre that we have too much going on with right now, so you can treat yourself to that movie.
Okay. Um, guys, we want to know what you guys think. So tweet us at Echo You Podcast on Twitter. You can find us on any social media sites and podcasting apps at Echo Underground Podcast. You can even email us at echoundergroundpodcast@gmail.com. And we'll see you guys on the next episode. Bye.
See ya.